Hello. Now look, I know this is weird and trippy to see me so dang early. There's a reason why. I actually have today, weirdly and uncharacteristically, a theory video. Um, I know, weird. I'm not I'm not smart enough normally for theories, but I'm gonna try my best. So this theory is actually something that kind of started to nag at me, unbeknownst to me, as I was watching Jammer play Digimon Survive. Now, I want to preface this before we get too far into this with a couple things. One, yes, there are two sources of inspiration for this theory, and yes, at the same time, I have zero experience playing the game myself. All right. All of my experience with Digimon Survive are solely from watching Jammer's Let's Plays. The reason why is actually very simple. I haven't rented the game yet. So keep in mind that this is all coming from someone who doesn't know the ending yet. So there could be something at the end, for all I know, that disproves me instantaneously. But without that knowledge, all I have to really fall on for this theory is the research I've done. And all the research I've done didn't help. I found nothing concrete in any direction to prove or disprove my little theory. I couldn't find anything solid at all. I found possibilities, hyperboles, vagueness, and possibilities mixed with maybes, and that's the best I've been able to friggin' find. I'm sorry, I tried. I did. I went and rewatched Digimon Adventure some episodes, even though I friggin' remember them too well sometimes. I rewatched some snippets of Digimon Adventure 2. I tried to force myself at gunpoint to watch more of Digimon Adventure 2020. I almost started to try and watch some of friggin' Digimon Try. Hell, on an off chance that it was somewhere buried in the Digimon series that I don't really all that much remember that well, like say Tamers and Frontier. I even dipped into that a little bit. I didn't watch all of them, thank God, or else I would be losing my damn mind. But I did do the research. I even did some light dipping into some of the games, trying to research through my memories to try and dig for information there. And the funny thing is, none of them provided anything concrete in the slightest. So before we even get into this theory, if I don't remember, I have too little experience, and I have nothing concrete for all the research that I did, which was all of last night. Granted, I mean, I wasn't going to be sleeping much at all last night anyways, so I at least got to do something with that time. So there's that. I did also, though, rewatch and listen into the one theory video that further compounded that this might be possible. And that was a theory video done by Proto Mario. Now, while I'm not going to list everything that was in that review verbatim, I will be putting a link both into Jammer's channel, but also into that video from Proto Mario. I'll be putting that in the description, just in case you want to do and listen in on the sources that led to this little crackpot theory. And my crackpot theory is that Digimon Survive, either intentionally or unintentionally, is the story of the Digidestined that failed. My theory is that these are the Digidestined that came before Tai and his crew, but after the, to quote Genai, original Digidestined. Now, why do I think this? Well, there's a couple things that do this. The first among them is that when you look at the original image shown by Genai of what the original Digidestined supposedly kind of looked like, there's some shortage here. Instead of having 7, there's only 5, or was it 6? One of the two. Either way, you're at least 1 or 2 Digidestined short of the full roster for some reason. Yeah, I'm just gonna be future me, me from finishing the editing of this video. I gotta done interject a bit, just interject a wee bit. It's 8 stupid past me? It's 8. I know you sucked at maths and at times you are forgetful as all hell, but it was 8. You just rewatched some of Digimon Adventure 1 not even a couple of hours ago, fool. Not even all that long ago, fool. And you're telling me you already forgot that the total number was 8? Or did you actually mean to say freaking starting was 7, you fool? Damn. Get your shiz together, man. I know you're not good at smartness, but dang. And to the rest of y'all watching this, be patient with this fool. Be patient with this fool. Man, get past me. You ain't need to call me stupid, but me true. Still. You see, that's kind of the thing. That's where we have to start, though, with this review. Why am I saying... I'm so used to doing reviews or opinion videos, not doing theory videos. Oh my lord, it's already messing with me that I'm doing a theory video. This is weird. Basically, for this theory video, our first point of starting with it all is we have to start looking at Geni, which isn't very helpful since half the time Geni is vague as all hell and doesn't know what's going on half the time anyways. We're going to, though, look at something that is kind of always going to be hard to do with an animation as opposed to that with like that of an actual person. We're going to look to mannerisms and the way someone conducts themselves. And when we think of the way Geni conducts themselves, if he's serious for even one effing minute, that is something to note. Well, here he was serious for a minute and a half. What's wrong with you, Geni? What's wrong with you? And that was the thought that ran through my head when he started being super serious. Sure, he cracked a couple jokes, but not the type of zingers he normally go with. Now, it could just be that it's because of how much info is suddenly being dropped on him about how he's all of a sudden learning about Apocalypse and so on. Maybe? I don't feel like that's really all that strong, but it's also not that weak, so it could be both. But the more kicker is just the phrasing of it. Now, this could be an issue of jumping from Japanese to English. It could be that. It could be a translation issue. But normally, when someone says original, the way in the format that Geni is speaking to Tai and his crew, that kind of hints that before Tai and after these original Dusty Destin must have been at least one or maybe even more than that. Total Digidestined between the two. Because normally when original is used in that format, that's what it means. That there's one or more in between the original source and those of the present. Let's go into the next bit. First off, there's what these Digidestin themselves scream to me. Now, I don't know about you lot, but when I think about this batch of Digidestin in Digimon Survive, through no necessarily fault of the situation they're in, but I just can't help but classify them as failures. The Digidestin up in here are failures. I mean, the only one who's got their crap together and is actually trying to help the group is your character. The others are just... The nice way to put it, I think, is flawed. Or, to be fair, and obviously all visual novels do this with their characters, they all have their own backstories that kind of explain away some stuff, some better than others, and stuff like that. But the real kicker for me is, even with this, the first word that comes to my mind when I think of them as Digidestined is failures. And to be honest with you, I think that's what the aim here is. I could be wrong, like I said. I very much could be wrong. And if I am wrong, oh no. I don't care. If I'm wrong, so be it. That's fine. It's probably something that gets disproven for all I know in one of the endings, for all I know. The first thing I wanted to say is that I'm okay if this is wrong. To me, if it's wrong, cool. It still was an interesting theory, and if it winds up being true, it probably be the most interesting and most intriguing storyline Digimon has ever done, much less ever attempted to do, honestly. And it'll also be the most unique and most likable attempt at story based experimentation they've ever done, too. So let's just get that out of the way now. Now, here's the thing, when it comes down to it, I'm not going to tell you nothing about certain bits. If you're wanting to avoid spoilers, of course, don't go watch let's plays or anything like that. Don't do that. Now, but for me personally, I do recommend going and checking out Jeremy's channel because it's been a huge blast and it's been hilarious. Hell, it's become a tradition now to rewatch them and try not to die laughing. So there's that. When it comes down to it, I think the thing I want to focus on right now, going into it, is one, an apology for the fact that I'm going to try and keep this video short, and I'm going to be aiming for as short as possible here. So I'm going to be missing tons of details. There are going to be tons of things that I did for researching that I'm going to be skipping over because they weren't really that strong in any direction, anyways. So, when it comes down to it, these Digidestined, they seem similar in some aspects to Ty and his group, and that bothered me a lot. Like, honestly, it screwed with my head for a little bit there, and I had to stop and ask myself so many times, why do you have Agumon in there? Why? And then finally it dawned on me. There are reasons why they have these groups similar when it comes to the actual, individual, the kids, but slightly different when it comes to the Digimon. The reason might be because they wanted to have this group be in the middle. Think of them as the in between. The original Digidestined, and then what is to come, which is Ty and their crew. His crew, alright? Why I'm bringing this up, you might be thinking. Well, ironically enough, the people involved are in some ways very similar. But the catch here is that some of them are a little, how do I put this? Different, and some would say underwhelming, and to some respects I kind of get it. But at the same time, it makes no sense in some respects. I mean, honestly, when I think of starting Digimon to have gone with, if you're going to be going different, personally, I just lean into it. There's no Digimon repeated here, and with no potential of Champion, Ultimate, or Megas being similar ever, with no possibility of it being attainable to make it that way. And that in order to get those Digimon on our side, you would have to get them from the wild. That's not what they did entirely. They did a little bit, but not by as much as I would have taken it, to be honest with you. At the end of it, no matter how much I would look at it, having them be similar but different made no effing sense whatsoever. Not 1 second did it make any sense to have them so similar, so different. Normally you pick one. That's typically a tradition. You pick one. And that's when this theory starts to make a little more sense. If you try to make it so this way, it's supposed to be the Digidestined who came before Ty and his crew, but after the original Digidestined, that kind of starts to make a little more sense then. Not a ton, just a little, because that's the best we can do right now. There's nothing concrete to actually do that. There's no way we can outright rip and tear and shred and say none of this has any possibilities even. Well, we can't do that without any hard evidence. And reviewing the shows, I didn't find a single drop of hard evidence to deny that. To deny the possibility. Not to deny the reality, to deny the possibility that maybe that was their intent, or goal, or inspiration even. And at the end of it, I found this to be really neat, and it was great watching this Let's Play, because it was kind of reminding me of when I was excited for Digimon. It's reminding me of when I was a youngin'. It was reminding me when I was a shrimp. All right, it's reminding me of when I was tiny, and where Digimon games had flaws but would rise above them which I haven't felt in about over 2 decades now, or 2 decades now, whatever. But watching this and seeing where they're at now, I'm actually starting to feel the inking of hope again, which made me once again excited to talk about Digimon. Truly excited to talk about Digimon again because I'm starting to see improvements. I'm starting to see life again. And if Hyde was, I don't remember the developer that's in charge. I think it's Hyde. I'm probably messing that up. And to the developer of Survive, I'm truly sorry. But you guys did good. You did good. All right. As long as these endings don't suck, there's a very real potential we are finally going to get a review for a Digimon game where I'm excited, where I'm hopeful, where I'm smiling like an idiot. So long as the endings are good. We'll have to wait and see, sadly. Now, will the next review be Digimon? I wish. Not likely. I do wish it, though. But I will tell you this much. The next review, something you ain't going to suspect. All I'm going to tell you is romance will be brought up a lot. There will be lots of talk of romance in the next review. I hope you are excited for me talking so much. I will be surprised and shocked if that review is even medium length, to be honest with you. I hope that's got you a little excited. Know that this theory is not necessarily born from, feeling like I had. For once, this was a Digimon video where I was not only excited, amped up, but I felt good. I felt real good. I felt good. I'm smiling like an idiot. Even now, I can see myself with my peripherals. Don't ask me to spell that. And I'm not digging my smile. Because I can even see it in bottom teeth. Damn. I hope you all are excited either for the next review or for the opinion video in 6 days. I hope you all are looking forward to the day when I finally rent Digimon Survive and do a review for it. Quite possibly. I hope you do, like I said, either check out the description because there's, like I said, there's going to be a link towards both Jammer as well as to Proto Mario. Go check that out. No, I do not technically have their permission to be giving them a shout out. But to be fair, my channel's so small, I don't think they'll really care. I think at best they'll be like, oh, cool, whatever. And that's it. I hope to see you all next time.